Good morning. This is the meeting of the Board of Health in Room 12 on April 22nd at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. This is the Board of Health meeting. I already said that. We have to tell you at this time that this meeting is being taped by, it's a state law now. We have to tell you that. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of March 12th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I approve it. I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, next order of business is the marijuana and the CBD advisory.
So there's been a lot of discussions around CBD and the accessibility of it in the community. So what we've produced are two advisories here. The first one is targeted actually at our food establishments.
Yep.
The industry is really regulated under the Department of Agriculture Resources, MDAR, and they have some policies on their website that dictate how CBD can be sold. And a lot of those requirements technically can't be met right now because everything needs to be tested. So what we want to do is just advise our food establishments of the law, of the regulations around CBD.
How are we going to enforce that?
So enforcement will really be done by MDAR.
See, that was my concern.
We can go in and we can do environmental scans, we can see what's available, and we can give them this advisory. Well, let me back up a little.
Okay.
When it comes to food products, we can regulate it because technically it's not an approved additive to food. So we can say you can't sell the food product. It's more the lotions and the anything that's non-edible oils that we can't really say you can't sell, but we can say, look, you're not meeting the MDAR regulations right now.
Because besides we can control the food because we have a license. They have a license with us, and that's in part of our what we are and what we do. But you go to every register somewhere else, I've been told, and liquor stores are selling it at their register. So how do we control them when we have no control over that particular establishment? Do we send out a letter? Does somebody go walk and talk to them? That was my question, because it's available so many places other than food establishments now.
And I think it's a fine line for us where we don't want to really raise these alarms. The point is we don't know, and like with most substances, our target is to keep it out of the hands of youth. We don't know what the long-term effects of CBD, especially with youth, we don't know what the results will be. So right now it's sort of cautionary, and we want to say it definitely can't be in food. I think regulations and enforcement is just one tool in the toolbox that we have to create a healthy community. We have community forums, we have environmental scans, we can go and see, we can talk to people, we can educate. So I think we kind of do that whole big picture. Regulations is definitely a piece of that. But I think community involvement, having discussions about it, and sort of the second piece, which is the parent advisory, talking to parents about what CBD is, what we do know, what we don't know, how it's available, is important. So I think this is one piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a very big piece of the puzzle, because even sending somebody into a liquor store and to buy you a beer, a 6-pack of beer if you're 18, and now you can buy the beer and the CBD. Is what in a liquor store. This.
Well, you need to be 21, right?
No, 20. No, but that's what I mean. You send an 18-year-old send somebody 21 over, and they're going to buy both of them now, leaving that store illegally.
Yeah, and people are always find ways. Unfortunately, just because you have a regulation does not mean that
we can't. Yeah.
Behavior is going to completely stop. And for example, we are tobacco 21, but we know people under the age of 21 have tobacco. They get cigarettes in one way or another, or e-cigarettes and products like that. So I always say, having a regulation doesn't actually solve the problem. It's enforcement, it's education, it's awareness, it's community involvement, all those things that get us to the result we want.
Yeah. Has the state set up any testing facilities?
That would be up to MDAR. I don't know of any.
Okay.
I thought they already had, I think I heard it on the news that they have, there's some laboratory or something that they have up and running. I'm really not sure.
Is that for CBD or is that for the marijuana that's currently out there? Because
That
I know
don't
that has to be tested.
there's two
for CBD.
There are two?
There are two?
There are, I believe there's 2 for CBD.
Do you want to come up
Sure.
and
Why
acknowledge
don't you?
now?
Yeah.
Do you want to come up to, just so the mic picks you up also?
Oh.
Just tell us who you are. And,
I did it. I'm Paula Silverman. I'm from the Brookline Department of Public Health.
Please, Paula,
Have a seat.
and
Aubrey?
Yes.
Do you want to sit? Aubrey should be involved in this? No?
if you can, if you have a question. But I just wanted to introduce
Okay.
Paula, actually. Thank you for coming.
Oh,
Thank you
no
very
problem.
much.
Not only for the Brookline, but you're also with the collaborative.
Yes, so I'm part of the MTCP collaborative. So I'm the It's a 7-community collaborative funded by the state of Massachusetts. I'm the tobacco control coordinator for 7 communities, Norwood being one of them. So CBD has been a big issue actually for a lot of our towns. Some of them are actually requiring any retailer to have the MDR certificate saying that their CBD has been registered, regulated.
It's a certificate then.
There, it's a letter. I don't have it with me. And I might have one of them in my car. I'm not 100% sure. But to make sure that all their products have been tested, and then they can't sell any product in their store that hasn't been tested. So to make sure that it's pure CBD.
Well, that's a
Some
help.
of them-
That's a start. That's a very
and
good
that's
help.
a town by town.
Are
Obviously,
they
yeah.
able to get that certificate? It's the same conversation with tobacco. Things are changing so quickly from
Yeah.
month to month. It's like a different report to the board. But from what I understood,
Yeah.
MDR wasn't giving those out yet. They have a policy that says that, but
Right.
they don't have the capability to do that yet.
So that I would have to check back on, and I know Sarah, you had said that they're not really responding so much.
What
either. Yeah.
I've heard is
Yeah.
that MDR, when they've been asked questions, they just repeatedly say, we don't issue permits, and they're not doing any.
Yeah.
Right,
This
and
is-
it's not the permit, I think it's more of necessarily is making sure the product is fully tested by a,
But that's a start. That's a good
Yeah.
start. That's a
Yes.
solid base to go from.
there are so many products, and that's the big problem. It's like, as I was saying, the Wild West out there.
And this is what this advisory pretty much says, is to get that MDR certification.
Yeah.
But technically, so at the end, it's, unless you have that letter from MDR, you technically cannot sell CBD products. But the problem is MDR isn't really issuing those.
So
I think
the-
they're,
So that's-
they're
so
building up
audience-
yeah, exactly, that's
So
that's
our
the
hands are
problem.
kinda tied.
Yeah,
You
it's like
can't say
nothing.
you
Okay,
can't
rip this-
sell that because you don't have a certificate, but yet I've applied for a certificate and they haven't given me one.
That's the conundrum.
So,
But then I'm wondering though if some of the products actually have their certificate themselves. I'm not sure if some of the companies have them, because some of the store owners say, "Oh, we have it." So I'm not. This is so new for us too.
Some
So,
of the
you know,
stores say
this
you
is-
have it. They
say
have it.
they have
Is
it.
it posted? Can we see
It's
it?
not posted, so I'm actually going back into another store, not in Norwood, so I can.
And
get
how do
back
they
to you.
work with it? How did they achieve it? How did they get that certificate?
Well, we're actually having them pull the products off the shelves right now until we. So
And that's what a lot of communities are doing, and it was a really Brookline's lead on that. So this, like everything, we kind of share information. This is based off of Brookline's and Needham's, and it's a conglomerate of a bunch of towns, their advisory that they put out. And it pretty much says you can only sell the product with an MDR certificate.
Okay, so I'm
So it puts the onus back on MDR, who should really be the agency out getting this done.
And it just seems like once they have one product and they have the end, then they come up with another product, you know? I mean, they'll come up with a brownie and the next thing, a brownie with peanuts in it or a brownie with something, but it would be basically a different product.
Well, I mean, you're talking probably a lot of food establishments.
I'm
for-
not
yeah,
talking food. I'm
it's-
talking
So you're
CBD.
talking like a convenience store.
Right.
It's really just making sure, obviously, that it's pure CBD and doesn't have any THC in it. And
But how can we do that? I mean, I'm taking on this battle personally. Now,
Yeah.
I had Easter yesterday. It was like crazy. People say, "How can you do this, Carolyn? It's CBD is blah 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 blah, and it's legal, and I don't understand. How can you do this?" Well, how can we do that? I mean, I'm saying, well, we can, but there's no certificate. There's no process for it. I mean, and I'm battling, and then I end up sitting there like this. Yeah, okay, you're making a lot of sense, but who is the Board of Health to take this on? I need some
Right,
help.
right.
I need help to make sure that I can clearly understand this and
Right.
take it forward and take it off the shelves and keep Norwood safe.
See, I'm not 100% sure if there's not a certificate, so I'll check on it and see, and what we're gonna do with some of the other establishments too. that-
So, and I think,
not
Carolyn,
Norwood.
to your point, if they can get an MDR certificate, they can sell the product. And what that certificate
I'm good
tells
with
us
that.
is that there's 0.03% THC or less.
But the state of Massachusetts their argument is that it has legalized marijuana.
This is THC,
This
we're not
is
talking
THC.
marijuana.
Okay.
This is hemp THC, it has nothing to do with
Hemp,
marijuana.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's just, it does.
but
That's-
CBD has been around for a very long time.
Yes, but the
Yes.
popularity has exploded, and I think if you look at the back of the parent advisory, you see the products that we're actually
Yeah.
targeting. We're targeting the gummy bears,
Now, do
candy.
we send this letter out to,
No.
Yeah, that was my
we will,
next-
once the board, if the board wants to introduce it.
okay. But how do we know who to send it to? I mean, we have convenience stores that we obviously know are selling, but I also happen to know that there's a liquor store on Route 1 that sells it.
I happen to know Jim's is
Happen to
selling it.
know
Yeah,
I mean,
we
that
permit
case.
the liquor stores and all
Oh,
the
we do,
convenience
okay.
stores,
Okay.
retail liquor. Oh, not anymore.
Hair salons can sell it. I mean, it's
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. How
Well,
do we-
but
You're
but
talking
if
about
we
in their lotions
send this
and that.
letter out, it's telling the people, the kids, oh, good, I can get this at,
well, that's
you
the
know?
next thing,
Well,
Joni.
the second one, that's why it's targeted to parents. This is a parent advisory.
But even, you know, if it goes to the parents, the kids are certainly gonna look at it and say, I gotta get me some of these gummies.
We need the state to step it up.
Yeah,
We need the state to step it up and clarify, make some guidelines for us to go forth, before this thing gets way ahead of us. And it's crawling there. It's running, actually.
I think it's running.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
And
it's
and
crawled anymore.
it's gonna be, if we don't put a lid on it, it's gonna be out of control. I mean, and then I'm not talking about the eating of, brownies with THC in it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the vaping and the CBD and the
Right.
THC and all that. I just,
Yeah, and how it's all interconnected and how,
Yeah.
marijuana, CBD, hemp, tobacco, e-cigarettes, it's all.
we need it clarified.
Right, and I think the idea of CBD was as a health benefit. I don't think it meant to run off in a bad direction, right? So CBD
Oh, I
was
agree
meant-
with you
yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, but it needs to be, we need as simple as a list of 6 products. Makes you high, doesn't, only
Right.
medicinal reasons, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Well, and
So who do we tell that to in the state?
I think also we need to look to the federal government because a lot of the labeling laws,
Right.
They're probably hurting.
If they come,
Yeah.
if they come
I-
under a certain level, they don't have to put it on a label.
That's what I'm wondering if there's labeling laws around CBD.
Yeah.
there's labeling laws around food.
Right.
But yeah, the fact that, and the examples on the back, they field tested positive for THC, but we don't know the amount. It might have been under the 0.03%, or it might have been over. But right now, they all say THC free, but they tested positive for THC. So we can't believe any of the labels.
Right.
So it's,
Unless
This
they're
thing is
MADGA,
huge.
unless it's from the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, has approved that product, and then it says THC free.
technically, I'm assuming.
Oh, dear
We'll
God.
see. I mean, it doesn't exist yet. So, and we haven't really seen a certificate yet. We've seen what it will look like, but we haven't seen one actually issued.
So when I go to this one retailer, I'm gonna see what I see from them, and then I will.
So
do
that's
you,
why I think, I'm sorry.
excuse me, do you go in as a sting, or do you go in as who you are
I
and
go
say,
in who I am.
and say,
I mean, I don't tell them ahead of time, but I go in who I am.
and just look in their case and see what they have?
Oh yeah, I mean,
And what do you
it's
look
right
for
there.
in the body, in the product?
I don't even know. That's the problem. It's
God.
just because it's so new, and I mean, it's not new, but the explosion is it's just happened so quickly. So there's products in there that you just don't know what they are.
And that's kind of why I think we start with an advisory. If you remember our last conversation, we were thinking about some regulations, and there's so many things that are in flux at this point that I think we start with an advisory. But this is just the start, and that we continue to see the evolution of this and what other authorities are going to regulate it, and kind of go from there. This is a starting point, the start of a conversation.
yeah, because there's no sense in making a regulation if it's gonna be.
We have no guidelines.
Yeah, and no guidelines, but then it's only half of what we really wanna do. I agree with that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks for coming.
Paula, thank
We
you.
might have
I
you
mean,
back up here because we're doing tobacco
So
next.
everybody
You
is
want to
kind
stay
of
there?
futzing with the same problem, is trying to just to decide.
The one thing that might stop kids if we send this out to parents, even though they know, is the price of this. The prices are a lot more expensive than if they bought a bag of gummy bears in the store. So I'm not sure, but prices might keep kids away from these. I mean, one of these packs is $35 for 5 servings.
What if the kids chip in?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
but they
you have
only
5
get 5
kids.
servings, so it's like,
And there's 5
do you know what I
kids.
mean? I'm just saying it's that's not a reason to not, I think kids are gonna look at what a price is. And yeah, they're gonna get all these, but they may get one gummy bear out of that
Cut it.
$7 or whatever they put
I
in.
think they're looking for the marijuana gummy bears too. I don't know if they're
Say
looking
that
for the
again, Paul.
they're looking for the
Of
marijuana.
course they
Yeah,
are.
I don't know if
They're
they're right
looking
now.
for the CBD gummies, right?
Not the CBD gummies.
The
I think they're
marijuana,
looking
yeah.
for
For
the
the marijuana.
Yes,
both.
from the- yeah.
Yeah.
CBD is more the medicinal,
These are-
but if it has the THC, that can give them a little buzz.
Well, let's hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think the serving size is important, because if you look at the picture, it's just, I mean, that's one kid's gonna, the price is high, I agree with you, and that's a deterrent, and that's good.
Yeah,
Just like we see when tobacco prices go up, it
Right.
reduces youth use.
right.
But that, someone can sit down and very easily eat that whole thing, which is actually 4 servings.
Oh, no, that's
Right.
crazy.
So when you think about the percent of THC, it's per serving.
Right.
So even if it did comply, someone's gonna sit down and eat the whole
Someone's
pack and probably get
package it.
above the percent of
Right.
0.0% THC.
Right.
Above the dose.
Yeah.
Percent stays the same, obviously, but,
See, one says certified pure CBD blended. It's blended in, but it's blended in with THC. You gotta read the fine
Right.
lettering here.
yeah, what does CBD blend mean?
Right, what is CBD blend? That's what I saw the other night. What is that?
Complete relaxation, like, we just don't know that. They're making claims on here.
Right.
They're
There's
making
a lot
medical
of
claims that, I mean, you see, it doesn't actually say, like, for anxiety, it says relaxation.
So my fear is, the whole board, Paul, that CBD has been proven to be a medical kind of a drug that helps with anxiety, anti-inflammatory relaxation. They're gonna proceed faster than we are
Oh.
to make sure that it is part of a pure product. You know what I mean? They're gonna accelerate because it's viable. I know people that have bought CBD creams and have helped their joints and stuff. So this is progressing very fast.
Yes.
And the progression of it is gonna go faster than the regulation of it.
Oh,
Correct?
yes. I mean, I'm sure it already has surpassed that at this point. I mean, you go into vape shops and they're selling tons of CBD products too, and I had a store owner tell me that his dog wouldn't have made it through surgery without CBD dog products, so they're in animal products and,
Well, they're in hamburgers there was an ad, some restaurant said that over the weekend they were gonna try it for, I think it was one day, they were gonna sell hamburgers with CBD oil.
So-
Just to relax you.
And that's
What
and
do
that's
we
the
have
things to your point, Carolyn, that I again don't think a regulation is advisable right now. That we need to we need to see where this is going.
Right.
And if adults want to use a lotion or a product, I have less concern with that. For me, it's more the gummy bears
Oh,
targeted
me
to
too,
children
also.
that might have
Right.
THC in it.
Right.
That's our realm, and that's where
Right.
public health
Our,
needs to come
our
in.
realm is THC. Well,
Well,
in
well,
pure
it's-
CBD, pure CBD. We want to make sure it's pure CBD without the THC.
Right.
Okay.
Feel great, relax.
And
now.
I wonder in the schools that, the students that come with their dogs that need medicine and stuff, is this gonna happen in the schools that people need to take, Paula, CBD, a pill, they get up and go and they have to relax because they have anxiety and,
And let me back up. There's one FDA-approved CBD medication.
yes, I just saw that on here.
So if
It
a
begins with an
child
E.
if a child really needs CBD,
They're
their
going to-
their
They're gonna have
physician
a
can
prescription
prescribe them for it.
Right,
CBD at a
That's the
convenience
medical
store
side.
is not a good medical
right.
advice.
But it's not
For a
FDA
child
approved, how can
specifically.
the doctors
There
write
is
a
a
script?
there is an
There
FDA
is.
approved
Oh, there is that
medication.
FDA
Yes,
approved,
yes.
that one drug.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm looking for the name of
Yeah,
it.
it begins, I read it.
It's on the parent advisory. So it is making roads in the medical field.
It
and,
is.
But it needs to go through the correct avenues, getting FDA approval,
Yeah.
which has its own hurdles, but as a public health agency, we need to
We're aware, our eyes are open, we know what has to be done, we're waiting for some guidelines, and we're gonna proceed with it. We're gonna run away with it when it can get you.
But I wanted to get the board's view on the department, the advisory for food establishments, and then the parent advisory.
I agree. I mean, just one of the sentences here just says, the CBD products may contain 0.3 THC, which is a
Oh, I thought it was .03.
psychoactive product.
0.3.
Is it .03 or 3?
This
0.3.
0.3,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier.
Yeah.
I think this is correct here. I thought it was .03. It's 0.3.
3%. Yeah.
And which is a psychoactive product. I mean, right?
But I
Right.
think under
Right
that limit,
then and
it's
there.
not,
Yeah, it's not
London,
considered
yeah.
under point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do we
Yeah,
have that limit?
Contains up to 0.3.
That's the limit.
That's the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a CBD
That's,
product.
that's why they want to test it, because they want to make sure that the products that are out there
Say what they are.
not any more than 0.3.
Right.
Because then they're no longer a CBD product once they go beyond the 0.3.
Then it's
Then they
marijuana.
become a marijuana product, so that's why we have to be careful. That's why they need to test it, to make
Correct.
sure
Yeah.
it stays under the 0.3.
0.3, right.
But I think that's also important for parents because I think this is an important thing. Because what if a parent does find this bag of, what is this? They hear about CBD, they hear about all the controversies. Now they've found it in their child's backpack or, they
Yep.
found it somewhere. And it's a concern for people who have older children and younger children in the same house,
Sure.
I mean,
Animals.
yeah, and younger kids are apt to see, ooh, gummy bear, ooh, I mean, so I think this is important that we get this out to them so that they have, that these aren't the only products, but to heighten their awareness that these products are out there and
Exactly.
to look for them.
This is my big concern, these attractive little products.
Right.
For children. They
Absolutely.
definitely attract children.
Okay, on to
Okay,
the next
great.
fun topic.
Well, can I make a motion that we vote on, to proceed with what,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can take a motion on that.
Okay,
I seconded.
yeah?
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So next on the agenda are the draft smoking regulations, and I really see this as a beginning of our conversation about looking at our tobacco regs again.
Yep.
And Sarah, do you want to come up also? Will you share and introduce yourself?
Here. Excuse me, sorry.
And this, a couple things. The major one let's talk about first, which was adding smoke accessories. So this is just a new idea. We would really be, along with Framingham has a public hearing about this on Thursday, be kind of blazing the trail on this one. So I think, it's just an idea out there, but we've seen a lot of issues with accessory items, both now, again, the convergence of tobacco and marijuana products, is we're seeing accessory items that are used in both. So you might buy a pipe that's meant for tobacco and use it for marijuana or vice versa. So we're seeing a lot more, now that marijuana is legalized, the products are now legal. The accessory items are now legal. And within that definition, though, we would also include vaping products, including the Juul and all the e-cigarette products. So sort of more restricting that, either we could do it to, the far end of the spectrum is restricting it to adult-only facilities, marijuana establishments, or medical marijuana establishments would be the only facilities able to sell that. And there's all sorts of varying degrees that we can go as far as how we want to restrict that in the type of product. So really we can kind of make our own decisions here, but this is just, again, like a start of a conversation. I'd like to see what goes on in Framingham, get legal advice, see if the board's even interested in it, I guess, in the first place.
Before we even do anything as far as the regulations are concerned, do we need to have an open forum?
For
To
sure.
have
Once we
people
develop,
come and give us their ideas about, or is that something that's gonna get,
No, it's
Out
something
of
we don't
control.
have to do, but we can do. It's not something that we,
my concern is that with
Obligated
something
to
like
do.
that, would it get out of control? Would we just have all business owners there and not, cause some of
think-
these regulations, I'm sure, are gonna affect the current
Basically the
business owners.
business.
yeah, for sure. I think
We've done
similar
this
like,
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
when we did
We- yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
We were kind of on the forefront of 21.
Oh,
Maybe
absolutely.
a handful of other communities had done it when we did it. And we had the big hearing in Memorial Hall, and it does get contentious. People have different views, and we consider all those views when we regulate. I think we have a lot of outrage in the community right now about the e-cigarettes and products. So I think we would have support, but understanding that there would be people that would be opposed to it also, for sure.
Well,
But
how
the
do
way
you
we
guys
handled
feel?
it-
Do you feel
the
that
way we handled it
Lock
before,
the-
Kathy,
lock their
was we had people sign up sheets at the beginning of the meeting, and we had the pros and the cons. So we would let the pro speak, and then a con speak, and then vice versa, all the way, down to the end. So it's not just one group of people, yelling and screaming and all that sort of stuff. So I think if we can contain it in that, everybody has their say, but at the same token, there's not gonna be a lot of people out there waving flags and yelling and screaming and stuff like that.
And it's a process that we would get to that
Right.
public hearing point.
Okay.
First, I
But a
think we need
public
to do
hearing
a lot
is
of more
not,
research.
is not obligatory, it's
Yeah.
something that we would volunteer to do.
Yeah, okay.
Sigal,
Mhm.
can we limit the amount of vaping stores we have in town? We have one already, to my knowledge.
Correct.
The adult only, yes.
Yeah.
And
Can we
that-
limit that? Can we just say one license? Can we, the board, make that decision right now?
So things
Well,
like
you
that,
can't
if
say
you look on
one.
page
Why?
9,
Because, yeah, you
You
can't
create a
say one.
monopoly.
Yeah.
so if you look
Why?
on page 9.
But you can limit it to 2.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can limit
we
it to
can
2,
limit
we
it
can limit
to
it to
2.
3, we can
Okay,
talk
let's
about
take
it.
that vote right now.
Well, it's all part of the
And I-
whole regulation.
Why not?
so
You
it's-
just said you could. I make a motion that we limit vaping stores to 2.
I think we need to develop a regulation that clearly defines what we mean and what is a vaping
Tomorrow
store.
you're gonna have 8 people come in here and want licenses for that.
You have a cap on your license.
We have a cap on our permit, so nobody can get a new permit. And then remember the number decreases. So an existing tobacco could switch to an adult only. That's what could happen right now. They would have to get rid of all
So
their
you can't
lottery,
have a new
all their
vaping store
food,
come in.
Everything.
everything other than vapor.
So, okay, so
products.
you, so my, I'm talking about vaping, you're combining tobacco stores and vaping as what I call
Because
vaping.
they're permitted in the same way right now.
Okay, okay.
So to switch to an adult only, they would have to get rid of every single other operation in there, and they would have to become like our vape daddies.
Like
Yeah.
vape decks.
Yeah.
Just
They
to-
could not sell anything else.
anything else. Okay. And we
Um,
don't particularly see that happening. Do you?
I
Do you think of anybody that particularly would do that?
there might be a handful, but I don't think it'll be hopefully not 8. I can think of 1 or 2 that might.
Okay.
But I mean, literally, it's giving up all their other profit-driven industries, particularly lottery and other things that do drive a lot of their profits. If it's their business decision, and if they want to do that. But I think as part of this, because if we do especially restrict accessory items to those facilities, then the motivation gets a lot higher. But right now, we don't really know if we're doing that.
Okay.
We're just discussing it. The motivation to switch because
But we currently already have a cap on our
Yes.
facilities. We have a cap of 34.
32.
what are we down to
And we're
right
not
now?
gonna issue anymore.
We've lost 1 or 2.
It's
very low
33.
30s.
I think you have 33?
Yeah.
33?
Now I'm getting the town.
Yeah, I know.
And we're not gonna,
It's
we're
you're in the
not gonna
rabbit
issue
hole,
a
yeah.
new one, it said, what I
No,
read,
we
no
would
issue,
not
when
issue
they,
a new
we
one.
lose that license when they turn it in.
Yeah, we lost one last year during renewals, one did not renew, and then we're very low 30s.
Okay.
So a tobacco license for the town, the tobacco license for a convenient mart, and a vape store, they hold the same license?
Correct.
Okay.
But they're different stores.
I
right?
absolutely
Yeah.
know that, but that's the thing, I mean, we've got 31 stores that can try to introduce vaping into that store now.
But as Segal said, they lose all their
All
other
their
income
revenue.
streams.
Yeah.
If they're a gas station convenience store, they'd
can't
have
have
to
that.
stop selling gas.
Yeah,
They'd have
Okay.
to stop selling lottery, they'd have to stop selling milk,
yeah.
everything.
There might be, I would say out of 33, if we got another. I think we should keep our cap at 2 or 3, no more than that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's something that we have to do with the whole regulation.
Well, I do too, Kathy,
You know, but, and I don't think we should think about changing our cap as far as.
they got a lot of people
Oh,
coming out
five,
of
six
here.
cigarettes? No.
Right.
No.
The communities that have done the dual capping have put in the second cap within the first one. So
Okay.
if you've got 32, the language would be, that you limit to 32 permits, of which no more than 2 can be
vaping facilities.
Or
retail
adult
to-
only.
adult only
Adult
retail
only.
tobacco
Can we do that now?
stores.
Can we do that?
Can you
I
do-
haven't done any public notices or anything
Okay,
about a
well,
regulation change.
I would like to see that
I
go
mean,
forth.
Well, I think
You
it's
can,
current.
but as Joan said, we recommend that you have a hearing.
Okay,
To give, retailers a chance to come and be heard. And so if you're gonna be looking at a number of different things, then you have one hearing. And you kind of have an idea going into the hearing of what you're looking at, what the possibilities are, as opposed to having retailers come and say, give us your ideas, cause that would be a free-for-all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd want some draft regulations and
Right.
some ideas that
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's what
present.
I don't wanna
think
scare the
before.
retailers, but I want them to know that we're aware of what the next step is in
Right.
vaping, and we're ahead of I wanna be ahead of the game with it.
then there's a lot of different things to look at, mint, menthol, and wintergreen exemption.
No, I read.
Right
that's
now,
the
you've
next
got that exempted, so
And
look
they
at
all
moving
know.
that all out.
They know.
Sure
They know.
So that was sort of the second big change. And if you remember last month, I said, let's hold off and wait and see what happens with the lawsuits. Well, it's changing so quickly that a lot of communities are going on board with the mint menthol ban.
The mint and menthol ban.
That at this point, I would recommend considering it.
And that's what.
Now,
like-
Carolyn, you can do it now.
No.
No, that's,
So
I would say,
Yeah.
but in the revamping of our regulations,
So
if
is that
we're
for
looking at-
cigarettes that have menthol,
Yes.
like
All
Newports,
products.
like when I,
All
Every
products.
So no mint
tobacco
Juul,
product.
no mint tobacco products, no mint.
okay, I make a
chew.
motion, we
Well,
delete that.
No, you have to do public
Delete
notice.
that?
and-
So-
Well, Joni, let's have a meeting,
Okay.
I know, and I'm very eager to
because we
work
need
on
to go
these two.
forth with this.
Yes,
mean,
I agree.
In
but
the
it's a
summertime,
process.
nobody's gonna be, parents are on vacation with their kids. I mean, we're heading into a dark zone for me as far as kids. I mean, parents are gonna be gone. If we could do it during the school year, we'd get a lot more attention. I
think
believe.
the one thing that you want to watch, as Sigal said, is Somerville is being sued right now.
Correct.
And my understanding is that motions are going to be heard this week, I think. That their enactment has already taken place April 1st. They're out doing soft enforcement, meeting with the retailers and seeing what's going on, and they're seeing very good compliance with the mint, menthol, wintergreen, everything being moved. But they are being sued by 3 retailers, obviously funded by the tobacco industry. And if you're gonna remove your exemption of mint, menthol, wintergreen, my recommendation would be that you put it far enough out so that we can see what happens in Somerville, and then that way, if the decision goes against the Board of Health in Somerville, then you can rescind your vote, and the retailers haven't removed their product yet because yours hasn't taken effect yet.
And who's making that vote viable in Somerville?
The Board of Health has already voted in Somerville. They voted in December, I believe.
To remove these two.
And the enactment date was April 1st. The visits that have been done so far are showing pretty good compliance. But they're being sued
By the,
by
3 of the
3
retailers.
retailers or 4 retailers. There's a law firm out of Boston, Fletcher Tilton, that is representing retailers in a number of communities. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, I think that the Board of Health will prevail, but I can't guarantee that.
so again, we just sit and wait and see what happens and make some decisions towards
Well,
that.
you can put in your regulation with the enactment. I mean, I know you want this for, before school gets out.
I do, well,
but-
I'd like to take it all off, I'd like to take it off the shelf before the mint and the winter
Yep.
green, because more kids are on the street.
Exactly.
I mean, in 2 months, the
understand
kids
that.
are on the street.
Yeah, so you could put it at a July 1st
I was just gonna say
enforcement or
July
an
1st,
August 1st
And let's help as much as we
enforcement.
can. Let's make some progress with this
Do you-
to help save the kids at
Do
some
you think,
level.
though, that we should get our
Is my
own
goal.
legal counsel involved
Absolutely.
in this before
Yes.
we
I mean,
before we even set a date for that?
Before,
Because
let's
maybe
do it. I
they
mean-
have more information out there about what the suits,
Yeah, that's
And
only
maybe
60 days if you do it July 1st.
yeah.
And Brookline is moving forward with their mint and menthol.
Brookline is, Walpole is.
Well, that's a plus.
And what
There's
dates
a
do
number
they
of
have, do you know?
communities that are.
Brookline's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
There's like 10 different meetings before you get to the town meeting. So this week is the Advisory Council for Public Health. That's this meeting.
And then after, assuming town meeting passes it,
Yeah.
has to go to the Attorney General for approval.
Oh,
Which,
That's
which
Brookline.
probably is not even the biggest
Nobody
hurdle.
else does it that way.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
that's-
we're
Brookline does it
different-
that way.
they're different
Okay,
animals.
close that door on
Only
Brookline,
Yeah.
we don't need to
So
know that.
the only towns that have done, or cities and towns that have done it officially is Somerville was the first, then Needham, and then Ashland. Those
And
take
they're
an
all
official
little
vote.
different.
Needham takes effect on July 1st.
Ah, awesome.
Ashland takes effect on January 1st.
And what about Walpole?
Walpole is still in the process. I'm not sure you know,
So-
what will happen when they have their hearing and vote. And I'm not sure if they do decide to go ahead with it, what their effective date would be.
My
But there are
question is,
a lot of towns looking at it right now.
A lot of people in the process.
A lot of towns.
do we need to get it on town meeting for this town?
No.
No.
We do not.
We do, because the Board of Health can develop its own regulation, we don't have
Okay.
to go to town
Oh, I
meeting.
love that.
Yeah,
It's a
Brookline
strong
is the
power the
only
board
town
has.
in the
Okay.
state.
It is a
That's-
strong town.
that's-
Yeah,
That's good
Brookline,
to
like I
know,
said, is a
because
Yeah.
different
that
beast.
wouldn't be until October,
Okay.
November
No, well,
town
so
meeting.
yeah,
Please tell
no,
us
because
what
we
our
have a
next
town
step
meeting
is
coming
for,
up
for
in a couple
mint,
weeks.
menthol,
But the
and
warrant
winter
already set
evergreen.
that
Would
aside.
would
The
do.
mint menthol ban. So it sounds
Mint
like the board's
menthol
in
ban.
favor of the mint menthol ban and would like to maybe pursue that in the regulations. Right now, I'm just looking for feedback from the board on what if they're interested in those two major changes. Any other thing on the horizon while we're looking at tobacco regulations?
Probably not today.
Tomorrow
Why
there might be
not?
something
Tomorrow
new.
there might be
Exactly, and that's the
something
problem.
else
By
new.
next month, I might have a whole new bunch of suggestions for
No,
changes.
yeah, the newest things are removing the
Menthol.
Menthol.
menthol exemption, and then, like Framingham is doing, controlling the number of places that can sell all the smoke accessories, and primarily moving, you know, not only moving all of the flavored products, but also removing all of the smoke accessories from, you know, your local neighborhood corner convenience stores where kids are going into all the time.
Town, right.
So now, does Framingham have a date that they have?
Not that I know of, but I think it would be fairly soon. I mean, their hearing is Thursday. I think it would, if they go forward with it, I think it would be fairly soon. But I'm not sure what date they have in mind.
Oh, I feel bad. Kids go in the corner store, like you said, for popsicle, they can get some THC, they can get a wintergreen. I mean, that's.
And it's not only the fact that they can get
Huh?
it, it's the visual
They get a
of
crack pipe.
being able to see all
Oh,
these
absolutely.
things.
It's
So
crazy.
obviously, nobody would sell these products to a 6-year-old.
Visible's gone.
However, a 6-year-old going into a convenience store with mom or dad, because maybe it's, you know, they don't want to leave them in the car at that age, obviously, is seeing this stuff and getting bombarded with
yeah.
the visual messages
Yeah.
that later on make them more interested in buying these
Or
things.
trying.
Particularly these two products, the wintergreen and the mint, do they produce a high?
No.
No.
No,
Just
it's
an
a
attraction for kids to smoke?
It's more than an attraction. It makes it easier for the smoking to happen. It makes it
'Cause
less harsh,
No, not that taste, the taste.
Yes.
right?
Oh, okay.
Covers up some of the tobacco smell. You know, the flavored, well, particularly mint and menthol and wintergreen have been heavily marketed for generations to communities of color. And so in communities of color, you're gonna see a much higher prevalence of folks using mint menthol and wintergreen. It's kind of pretty much the same thing.
So we regulate it and take it off of our exceptions, they cannot sell it.
Right.
They cannot sell it in a convenience store.
They could sell it.
Brookline has no adult-only retail tobacco
They have
stores.
one.
Oh, they have one?
Yeah.
And are they exempting it, so
They're
it can
trying,
go in there?
no, they cannot
Okay.
go in there.
So Brookline would be the first town that has a total restriction.
So in other
But
words,
the other-
they're-
the other
if they have
three
an
towns-
adult-only store, they
But we're
can't,
predominantly
currently-
all convenience stores, so
Right.
yeah, it's.
so they can't sell it
They,
in any
it sounds like they
of
won't
those.
be able to sell it either. But the other 3 communities, Somerville, Ashland, and Needham, have it restricted to adult-only stores.
Which, just to add more confusion to this, we have the
Oh, please
basic, we
do.
call it the basic flavor ban, where we ban all other flavors except mint and menthol.
Yep.
Right now, that flavor ban is exempt from the adult only. So the adult only can sell
Flavor
flavored products,
Products. Okay.
obviously only
Didn't we,
21 older.
didn't we remove,
Just the big.
We
daddies,
we removed it from all other tobacco retailers, but we said
Did that-
exempted to
Yeah, we
adult
did
only
do that,
facilities.
yeah.
So
So
currently,
I-
your
no.
vape daddy can sell the flavors, right? Just the vape.
All the flavors.
Now I have a question for you. We have a vape daddy.
and that's what they're
Okay,
doing.
that is
Oh,
an
I've been-
adult
that's-
only. But we also have an adult only store on Route 1.
That's right. But they
They
don't
sell,
have, they don't have.
They don't have
they
tobacco.
don't smell tobacco.
license.
No.
And
They
they-
don't, but
They could apply
can
for
they?
a tobacco permit,
No.
except for you've got a
They
cap.
can't get one
No,
now.
they can't
So
get.
now
one.
they can't get one.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's,
Right.
that
Oh,
was a
I've been there.
concern.
Yeah.
I mean, They sell clothes, but still. I mean,
Does
it's
Brookline
like-
have
lack of,
an
yeah.
interstate through them? Because we have so many stores, gas stations on Route 1.
Yeah, I mean, they have one major, like Route 9 goes through, but not.
Thanks,
really-
Jen. Do you have a downtown like we do that's very
This is
visible to
downtown,
your
yeah,
community?
oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my
Brookline's
problem,
much
that we
more-
have,
much more
that's where our
urban than
children gather.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
I
so
mean,
many pizza stores and hang around
all the
stores for
kids
them.
do. They all travel, by the public transportation, and they get off at all the different stops. And there's like a couple little downtownish areas, yeah, and they all hang out like that.
We've come a long way. I mean, I remember taking, like Joni and Kathy, taking the cigarette machines out of the stores.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Back then, I mean, it started, and we did that. So
I
it's just,
remember when they were 85 cents a pack
Yeah.
in the machines.
so now we have to go on tiptoes but be progressive and try to make this happen.
Yeah, and I think we're not quite blazing trails on the mint and menthol, but definitely with the smoke accessories.
But we did at 21. We were the first. We were
Yeah,
very
yeah, no.
progressive.
I didn't mean that negatively. I meant to
No.
say but we need to go
And
through
we
the
did
process.
get some
That's what I
pushback
mean.
when we did the flavors,
Sure.
but it
Joni was up for re-election and they had a noose around her neck because we were taking smoking out of restaurants and bars.
Yeah.
Well, you'll get pushback definitely on the mint and menthol.
You'll get
A lot.
letters from the law firm.
Is it that much of a seller for them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Very
probably
much.
about 40% of.
And what do they do with this again? I'm so sorry. Vape?
Well, no, I
But
mean,
cigarette-
you're
Newports,
you're talking, yeah, Newport cigarettes.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Newports.
Yeah.
Back to them.
And
And
it's
the
also,
vape.
But
it's
also
also
and
vape.
Juul,
Yeah.
Can
Jules
they take
said
that
Juul.
tobacco out and put it in something? I don't want to know.
No.
They don't want to
No.
hear that.
No.
You don't want to know any of it. Right?
So
green.
yeah, so it's tobacco products as in traditional cigarettes and cigars and all that stuff, but it's also the e-cigarette products and the vapors and the jewels
And the
chewing
chewing
tobacco.
and the chewing.
Because they do sell a lot of those flavors too.
Right.
So it would restrict all those products that have any sort of mint, menthol, wintergreen flavor.
I agree with that because
It's progressive when you look at it. First you removed the flavor, but even before that, you did a lot of things.
We did.
Self-service displays and vending
Yep.
machines and all sorts of stuff that was probably 2 or 3 generations ago in tobacco. And then the flavor stuff. Now, get the rest of the flavors, the mint, menthol, wintergreen, remove that, and it's moving towards the ultimate end game of not having
No more tobacco.
not having Americans
But
addicted to nicotine.
These vendors can get their strong attorney now and say, hey,
They are.
whatever the cigarette companies are now saying, you're not going to remove that. That's money coming out of my pocket.
You're gonna get phone calls, you're gonna get letters.
Yeah.
People are gonna come to the public hearing. I mean, it can't be held in this room, obviously, because
no.
Oh, no.
people will be out in the hallway.
Yeah.
But you'll also get a lot of support. You're talking about about kids vaping in middle school. You're gonna get support from the educational community, hopefully superintendent, high school principal, middle school principal, because they're dealing with this every day. And parents
We want some
Yeah.
students there.
and students.
I mean, there's a very powerful group of people behind selling these jewels and all the rest of it. So that's why it takes so long to get anything through the system. Okay.
Okay, so
All right, tell us how to proceed.
I think for the next meeting we'll try to have draft regulations with both of those changes, and if anything new comes along in the next month.
Well, I have one other question.
Yeah, of
Do
course.
we, as part of this smoke accessory sales permit, do we need to regulate where they sell it? In other words, like cigarettes are sold behind the counter.
Yes, you did bring that up last time.
Things like baby formula now are sold in a locked cabinet.
Yeah, let's settle.
Can
It's
we,
expensive.
can we regulate that these products, whatever products they do sell, these accessory sales permit products, that they are in a locked cabinet behind the counter and have to be, not something that's just out in the open, cause right now, I've gone by stores, you can see hookah pipes.
But you're talking
You
about
can't touch
moving
them.
them to adult-only places.
Right.
So in an adult-only, you wouldn't
don't
need to
need
lock
to.
it up because
That's
kids can't go in there.
Okay.
What they're supposed to do in an adult-only is ID somebody before they step over the threshold.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and if, just like a bouncer in a bar,
Yeah,
sort of.
okay.
And if they're not 21, they've got to have a sign right at the door. If they're not 21, they shouldn't even be
Getting
getting
in the
Agree, it
beyond that
starts there.
threshold.
Okay.
And
Okay.
up to the counter to ask for any product.
Okay.
So theoretically, if they're following the law
rule,
and doing
you
that,
don't have to.
then only adults are going in, and only adults are able to approach the counter and touch products if they're out on the counter or buy products.
Okay.
Why is, I don't know if this pertains, but why is the formula locked?
It's expensive.
Oh,
Because
kids,
they steal
kids
it.
can't do
Well, you
anything with
can't-
it, make it
no,
their own.
no,
They
Oh,
steal
okay.
it. They
You
They
just
steal it.
steal it. It's very
So it's like buying
concentrated.
Sudafed when I go for my Sudafed. I can't buy that off the shelf, the ones that I
They-
take, because
Well,
I have to
that's
ask the pharmacist because
Yeah.
somebody's making meth out of it.
Yeah, but they cut it. They
Yeah.
use the baby formula to
To
make
cut
other
things,
things,
yeah.
to cut things.
To cut the heroin.
To
and
cut
stuff.
Baby
heroin,
formula?
yeah.
I mean, that was
Cut
one of the
meth.
nice things when CVS removed all their tobacco products. It freed up all that space
Space
to put all the
with
baby formula behind the counter.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something in
win-win.
baby formula that makes it easier to cut heroin and cocaine and meth.
I know. The kids don't have a chance. They just don't have a chance.
Well,
Well,
I'm
they-
gonna fight
they
for
do,
them,
and-
don't
and-
say that.
They
yeah,
do,
I don't
as
wanna-
long as we keep fighting for them, they do.
Correct, and to be honest, most kids are actually making the right choice. When we
Yes.
look at the data starting to
Yeah.
trickle in from our youth behavior survey,
Yeah.
most kids, they're not using alcohol, they're not smoking, they're not juuling. There's a percentage that do, and we want to protect those kids as much as possible.
I have to
But
say
most kids
that's
are making
true.
the right choices.
The kids that I hear from know that vaping is bad and it's going on in the schools, and
Yep.
they know it's bad. So that's a progress.
Yep. And cigarettes, one of my grandkids, little friends, calls them death sticks.
Good.
Cancer
You know.
sticks, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well, the more
death
we
sticks
talk
is
about
what
it,
she
and the
said.
more we talk to our children about it, and the more we're there for for the kids, like you said, there's a problem at the junior high. The more the adults are there for these kids
Mhm.
to help them and listen to what they're saying, and not saying, "Oh, that doesn't happen."
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I'm
the
not saying
more
the
we-
Like
junior
they
high,
were with
junior
the
high, high
cigarettes.
school, every,
Right.
every,
Like
every
the
the more we
community's having
listen,
that
the more
problem.
they're
Every
gonna
community.
feel empowered to, and I see that in some of these kids that are out there today.
Yep.
They wanna be empowered, they
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
take control of
Mm-hmm.
things.
And the problem's gotten so bad that Juul announced last week that they've got, there's like a little tracking device now, or a tracking number. There's a number on the Juul device, and if parents find a Juul, or if school confiscates a Juul, they can go onto this portal that Juul has online, put in the tracking number, and apparently then Juul finds out where that product was bought.
Ooh, they-
Juul says they're gonna turn that information over to the FDA. We're trying to find out if they would turn it over to local boards of health also.
They're
so
making
that
enough money that they can do that, Joel.
they're making an awful lot of money.
Wow. And kids don't understand that one of those little packets is the same as a pack of
10
cigarettes,
cigarettes.
you know?
With a Juul it is. The
Yeah.
Juul's nicotine level is higher than other
That's
Yep.
why I like it.
e-cigarettes.
Pack of
That's why
cigarettes.
it's taken off so much
And
too.
it's small.
Wow. Well,
Right,
thank
so-
you, ladies, very much.
I could go on all day, but thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, really,
So your next step would be a
maybe-
draft and
maybe
a
some-
public hearing?
Some more tighter draft regulation on both, so restricting all vaping and accessory items to adult only.
Yes.
And the mint and menthol
Yes.
restriction.
Yes,
Alright,
Yeah.
and then.
And the
so we're-
smoking accessory part?
I think we'll be able to
Yeah, that
walk
would
down
be
the street after that.
restricting all the
Yeah.
accessory items,
Restricting,
including
okay.
the jewels and the
Yeah,
vaporizers and
yeah.
e-cigarettes.
And then capping adult only?
And then capping adult only
Yes.
is part of that.
Yep.
yes.
Have that for next month, and then after we look at the draft, go out for sort of a public comment
Public,
hearing period,
Yep.
and schedule a hearing. Yeah, you're right, we're up against the summer issue.
But
We
that
only do
doesn't
what we
mean that
can.
we can't, like, set a date for like even August 1st. I know the kids are on vacation, but at school, but even if we said August 1st, it would still be before school starts again.
Yeah.
That
and
would be
already-
great, and it's better than not doing it at all.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree.
No, and
And get it in progress
That
so
would be
that
great.
by the time it comes back to school,
we're ready to go.
it'll be already
And we
set.
can, we
And
can
we
phase
can always
it in
change
too.
the date if there's a problem. If we find out that we are
Right.
being sued, we can always bring it back and say, we're gonna change the date to the end, whatever.
And you don't have to do everything on the same date either. You could say, that the dual capping and the accessories takes effect on a certain date and the mint menthol takes effect on a
Okay.
certain date, or however you wanted to do it.
So we don't have to have the regulations all set in
You
stone,
don't-
set the
no.
way we want
But
them,
it just
and
makes
then
it cleaner though if you do it all at the same
Right.
time. It
Okay.
just
I mean,
makes
it's
it cleaner.
easier for retailers to have
Right.
everything on
On
the
the
same
same
date,
date.
even though they'll come in and argue and tell you, I need, a year to sell down all my menthol product. No, they don't. They don't.
What about council? Do we need them for these steps to go?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
she'll
clean up
go
this
through.
draft, run
Yeah.
it by council, again, I'll talk to you guys again, see if anything else has changed, see what happened in Framingham.
Right.
Wanna get their sort of final versions of what they've been successful with,
And
hopefully.
you'll know about Somerville a little more. That may drag on for months, but you'll know a little bit more in the next
Good.
month or so.
Yeah, so I think our timing is good. I
Yeah.
know we would definitely wanna do something quickly, but with all the balls in the air, I think maybe
But
our
we've
timing
always
might
taken
work
a
out.
step forward with
Yeah.
this, so we'll just.
And I know it seems kinda ominous that we don't wanna get sued, but I also think I don't wanna be held hostage by the fact that we could possibly get sued because we're moving forward on something healthy.
Well, there's a group out of Northeastern School of Law, the Public Health Advocacy Institute, and they would have conversations with your town council, if you do remove that exemption, based on, they would possibly defend the town.
Okay.
Possibly.
Possibly.
no, they
They're,
would-
they're not
yeah.
giving a blanket approval to all 351 towns
Oh,
in the state,
Right.
but on a case-by-case basis, they haven't told any town no yet, but on a case-by-case basis, they would provide counsel. They're not doing it in Somerville because Somerville has its own law department.
You see now in all the rest of the towns, I'm on the executive board of the Mass Association of Health Boards, and we
Yep.
have our own attorney there, Cheryl
Cheryl
Sabara.
Sabara, yep.
And Cheryl does a wonderful job, and she'll help any town, anywhere.
She submitted an affidavit for the
Right.
suit in Somerville, so
Right.
she's actively involved with it.
And she's excellent. She, will obviously run it by Cheryl, I would think, and see if she has any suggestions, from other towns and whatnot that she's already, had thoughts of or problems with. So, yeah, I have a good feeling about it that it will pass without too much.
Thank you, I think we've got a lot accomplished,
Yes.
really. Thank you so much.
I just want to leave you a copy of the latest
Okay.
community fact sheet on Norwood, and it talks about cancer rates
Thanks.
in comparison to the state rates.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about density of retailers. It's one. I should have stapled. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
one
Oh, I'm
report.
It's
So
one
you're all
report,
looking
so-
at different pages.
We're all looking at it.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll
I
give
should
it
have
all back
stapled
to.
it.
That's
I
all
should
right.
have stapled it.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of valuable health information on there, and it gets updated by the state a few times a year.
Good.
I should
Okay.
read, can we, it's on the state
Sure.
website, I'm assuming?
MakeSmokingHistory.org.
Maybe on our page we'll link to that.
Yeah. But it's good to have all the information out there that people, if you're really concerned and you really want to find out, there are places to find
Yeah.
it. Okay. You want to give that back to Sigal and she
This?
can make
No,
copies
we
of
can-
it?
Oh, sure. But we've already done all these, right?
It
That's
shows
all
what
about-
you've
no,
done
it
as far
shows
as
what we have done.
regulations, yeah.
Yes, I
Most
love
of the
it.
time, I'm looking at towns where there's a lot of N.
No, I
and
just-
you've got-
I like
yes,
that.
Yes, yes, yes.
You wanna take copies?
I can do
with
it.
you?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think I was gonna take it home and, put it.
I should have made multiple copies. but-
No, that's okay.
I don't
She
share
can do
very
that.
well.
Okay.
Well, again, there's so much to go on and so much to take steps forward that we are very proactive to keep Norwood safe
Yeah.
and our kids safe. We're making Norwood great again.
It was always
That was
great.
always
Is there a
great.
T-shirt and a hat?
Yeah.
You never
But we had
know.
them way before that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank
thanks
you.
again, ladies.
Thank you
Thank
for your
very much
knowledge and
for
expertise.
Take the time to come up
Thanks,
and,
Paul, that was
sure.
awesome. Thank you.
Give us
Yes.
a lot of
Spent a
answers.
little
Yes.
time in Norwood today.
Yes, yes. So,
Okay, what's next?
all right,
Mosquitoes.
moving right along, the mosquitoes, yes. And if you wanna let us know, Sagal, how people in the area can find out where their house is gonna be sprayed or when, or,
So this is the aerial larvicide. So this is a helicopter application
Always.
control, and
Yep.
they fly over the big wetlands around the community
okay.
to do a larvicide application. This is sort of their first step in starting up the mosquito control for the summer. Once I believe Memorial Day hits, then you can go on Norfolk County Mosquito Control's website and request a ground application that's an adulticide. That's for the adult mosquito. This obviously is for the larvae. And that won't start till Memorial Day, but I think the easiest way is just Google Norfolk County Mosquito Control, because their website is pretty long.
Okay, that sounds, yeah, quite a few towns that they, wow. I didn't realize they went as far south as Weymouth.
Yep, so they'll be doing, and you might see the low-flying helicopter
Yeah.
in the next week. I
Good.
think it's actually this
This
week
week.
and next week.
This
Yeah,
week and
this
next week, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so it's not the end of the era, or the end of the world. You
Yep,
see
just
the
the routine
low-flying,
larvicide.
just the
They do
routine.
it every year, but they want to make sure that we know what's happening.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. On the old business, we have the nurses report. Karen, have you got anything exciting for us?
Nothing new, Joan?
No.
At this point in time?
Okay. Everybody's behaving themselves. 34 cases of flu, huh, still? Wow.
They seem to have an upsurgence right after they said that it was on the decline. And then like 2 days later, the hospital was inundated with,
Really?
yeah, it was like unbelievable. They like jumped, like over a week's time. They just went all the way up for more flu places.
Wow.
Yeah.
110 diagnosed cases
Yeah.
so far to date this season,
Wow.
as opposed to 176 this time last year.
Oh,
And they thought it was
But
worse
a lot
this
more
year.
influenza-like illness. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily
not
Flu.
necessarily the
Tested
flu,
as-
yeah, okay.
testing positive for flu.
Karen, I've been asked about the shingles vaccine. We don't offer it anymore, correct?
We do not.
Okay, and is there an age requirement? I couldn't answer that correctly.
50 and over.
50 and over.
Yeah.
So their primary care doc?
Yes, but they're backlogged
Oh.
in terms of being able to get it. I heard that there was pharmacy in Canton though that has it.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
Sorry, I haven't heard of a local pharmacy here
Isn't
at
that-
this point in time, but again, I haven't called them all recently.
No, I just wondered. If you've had the shingles, can you still get the vaccine afterwards?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, you should.
a year after you've had the shingles,
Right.
and even that's not guaranteed.
And there's a new,
I got it.
I
the
know you-
vaccine is new. It's a better vaccine that's out there
Than the old
now
one,
than the
yeah.
older one.
Two doses.
Two doses.
Oh,
two
it's 2 doses,
Yep.
oh, okay.
Shot,
No, I had the,
series.
I had to check on that.
No, I just had a shot at, it's okay, I'll figure it out. I
Yeah.
just had a shot at the CVS, but I thought it was for something else. It was a 2-part shot and I had to wait 6 months in between. My second shot, I needed it, whatever it was.
We're talking about.
I just follow instructions,
Yeah.
sometimes well. Okay, thank you about that, but
Oh.
at one point I thought we did offer the shingles vaccine.
We did.
We did.
The state had run a program where they provided vaccines to the towns.
Yes.
The individual
Okay.
towns. So we did quite a few at that point in time. We really took advantage
Thank
of that
you.
program, but it hasn't been offered again.
Karen, you wanna come up here? I wanna talk about the measles. That seems to be
Thanks,
an
thanks.
ongoing
Oh.
discussion
Tony?
to people. Oh, thank you. It hasn't been local enough to us, the measles. Have we had anything from the state as far as older people that, didn't know if they got the measles shot? Should they get a measles shot, or?
If you were born before 1957, you're presumed immune. That does not apply to healthcare workers. The best way to protect against the measles, of course, is to be sure that you have immunity, either 2 doses of MMR vaccine. You can obtain a titer. That's what I did, because I didn't have it. I was too old to have, I'm a healthcare worker, so I didn't fall under that guideline for the years. It didn't matter. So I got a titer, so I know I'm immune.
Just explain what a titer is.
Oh, I'm sorry. A blood test that can prove that you are immune to measles, mumps, rubella. You can get
And who
a
does
titer.
that, Karen?
Your doctor can order it for you. Primary care physician can order it for you. So,
And-
Our
and-
employer did at one point in
and
time.
right, the hospital,
Yeah,
right,
'cause
sure.
we had to present a record of having had it, and I had to have a titer, and I was not. I had to have the
Oh, is
measles
that right?
vaccine over
Oh,
again.
interesting.
TITER?
TIT,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we do not allow anybody in camps or us public schools without the proper immunizations.
Except people that have religious
Religious
exemptions, right.
So
No-
there is that
religious or
activity that
medical
could happen, I'm sorry?
And medical,
Religious,
medical.
there's 2 exemptions allowed in Massachusetts, religious and medical.
All right, but those children can still go to public school without the immunizations, is what I'm asking, whether they have those 2 exemptions. If those exemptions apply to one child, they're still in the 2nd grade at an elementary school in Norwood, let's say.
Correct.
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 Some states allow, what do they call it?
Philosophical.
Philosophical objections. Massachusetts does not allow that. It has to be religious or medical exemption. And we do have very good high rates of vaccination in Massachusetts. Doesn't mean we won't have cases. I think there is one Massachusetts case where someone traveled through Massachusetts.
Through Massachusetts, I'm not up to
Traveled
date.
through, I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
traveled through, yeah.
So we still have children that could bring in the measles to our school system is basically what I was asking, I'm asking you.
It's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
And I think they have to, if there is an outbreak in the schools, those children that are not vaccinated have to be sent home and kept at home until the incubation period is over. Am I
Right,
correct?
right.
Yep.
There's an exclusion, so that's the risk you take.
Yeah.
Is that if there's a documented case that, you know,
We have protocol in place,
and you're susceptible.
Right.
You have an exclusion.
Right.
but our students that have been vaccinated are somewhat protected.
Right.
Yes.
Right, yes, yes.
But the older,
Again, there's that balancing scale.
Exactly.
but the older people, if you're concerned about it and you're heard of somebody that you feel that you've been close enough to, then you should get a titer blood test.
You can certainly get a blood test, or you can receive the vaccine.
Now, is that a live vaccine or a dead
It
vaccine?
is.
It's a live vaccine.
It's a live vaccine,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And it's a 2-dose series.
Two dose series. Okay. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you, Karen. Imagine we're still talking about the measles.
I know, but all it takes is
Yep.
one week. Right.
Amos.
Okay, Drug-Free Communities Grant Program and Impact Norwood. Come on up. Sure.
It's a good meeting.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, a lot has been happening with Impact Norwood. Our Photo Voice project is still on display down here in the basement of Town Hall. And those photos are showing what substance use looks like to youth in the community. It was a project that youth from Norwood and 3 other communities worked on last summer. And we're kind of taking that concept and flipping it, and some youth from the high school and the middle school are doing Photo Voice again, but this time focusing on the positive in the community. So taking photos of maybe after school activities that are meaningful to them, or adults that they have a good relationship with who serve as a protective factor, or family meals, just anything that is positive that keeps them safe. So we're hoping to display those photos next.
Nice.
To kind of flip it and show the positive, because in prevention work, we need to educate and show
only
people
show
the
them.
risks, but also show all of the positive that happens as well. And speaking of positive, last month we had our first community games dodgeball tournament. It was a great turnout. We had over 100 people there. We had 15 teams, I think, mostly comprised of 2 adults and 3 youth, though there were some variations. But it was a lot of fun, and we hope to have more events like that in the future. Something like a trivia tournament for those who aren't as
cool.
athletically inclined, like myself, or a kickball tournament. Just things like that that promote positive alternative activities on weekends and help build youth and adult relationships in the community. Our program coordinator, Daryl, has been working really hard to build our youth coalition. We've had a few meetings, and they're consistently being held every other Friday at the high school library. So the next youth coalition meeting is this coming Friday. So that's really exciting that we're starting to get more youth involved because this work is for them, so they need to be at the table.
Now, is this in conjunction with the coalition?
Yep. Yeah, so it's our youth arm of the coalition.
Okay, but they will be at the regular coalition meeting, is this what you're saying?
If they're able to, if they're not able to make the regular coalition meetings, youth are meeting separately, right after school in the high school library.
Okay.
So,
And the next regular coalition meeting is?
May 9th.
May 9th.
May 9th,
Okay.
yes.
May 9th up there.
Yep. Another really exciting development with Impact Norwood, we are taking steps to become our own nonprofit organization, and that's really important for sustainability. So after grant funding ends, our hope is that the work that Impact Norwood does can continue because it will have its own structure and will be its own nonprofit. So that's really
So will that
exciting.
be still grant writing to supply money to it?
Yeah, but after grant funding is over, so after the 10 years of the Drug Free Communities grant, it's our hope that because it's its own nonprofit, we can
Sustain.
do big fundraising activities
Yeah, that's
and
wonderful.
sustain the work that we do. Two other things, we're having another TIPS training in conjunction with our coalition with Needham, Dedham, and Westwood. And TIPS training is a training for retailers or establishments in the community that sell or serve alcohol, and it's just to help them do their job more responsibly and educate them.
Excuse me, Bob,
Yeah.
is each restaurant going to send somebody? Are we gonna send out something that requires them to send one of their staff to
We-
the meeting?
I don't think we can't require it, but we highly suggest that they go, and we offer it for free.
But is there a
so-
certificate that we give out that, for the tips course, that, that?
Is there?
Yep, they take
Yeah.
an exam and they're certified in TIPS training for 3
I
years.
think one from each establishment should go.
It's regulated by the selectmen. We work with them to get the information out to the licensees.
Mhm.
We figure it motivating when it's coming from the board that licenses them, and we also work with the police department. So it's a conjunction of those three plus the regional collaborative to strongly encourage attendance. And the more
I think
the
they
more the better.
encourage it to facilities that have had problems in the past. So I think that's part of what the selectmen, when they come before the selectmen, they ask them, I think they kind of
I like
require
that.
them at that point in time to have somebody that's CHIPS certified on their teams.
Yeah, they can go online and take a course,
Yeah.
but it's the in-person 4-hour course that we strongly encourage.
And we
with
don't
the test
charge
and
tell
examination.
everybody, we don't charge for the,
Yep, this one is free
And they can
for
get a discount.
establishments.
Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
And they can get a discount on their insurance
whoa.
if they have the.
And
the
when is
training.
this one being held? Do you know?
Oh, I didn't
That's
bring the
okay.
dates with me, but
It's,
I think it's, is it end of May?
Do you send it out to
It's
all
the
Towards
end of May.
end of May.
restaurants?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, so
With the discount for their insurance? Gives them an incentive?
It's
Yep.
in the information that
That's
we send
great.
out that's.
and they also provide food, so, I mean, people always like
And
lunch
where is
and
that?
whatnot.
It's at the American Legion
Thank you.
in Dedham.
Oh,
Yeah, all the information is on the flyer, I should have brought that.
American
you.
Legion is right behind,
it's baseball field.
Tahiti.
yeah,
DJs and
the old
Tahiti.
Tahiti
The
restaurant,
old
the Tahiti restaurant.
in
Where's Tahiti,
Dedham.
John?
It's
I know
on
where
Route
it is,
1.
no, I'm just saying younger
Oh.
people than us
Oh,
not gonna know
okay.
where it is.
Yeah.
Well, they know where it is. I'm sure they do.
Oh,
And lastly, speaking of sustainability and cost effectiveness, 3 police officers, myself, and a coalition member from Impact Norwood were actually going to be trained as TIPS trainers. So then we have people in the community who are trained to give tips training to establishments to hopefully offer it more often, and make it a requirement eventually down the road, for all establishments to be tips trained. It'll be more cost effective because we have people right in the community who can do that training instead of having to bring in an outside trainer. So,
Great.
yeah,
Good.
exciting work.
Thank you, all
Yes,
three.
you're welcome.
Okay. Food safety reports.
Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
There was one establishment on update list for this month, was Boston Market. See, as noted on the update list, an opening checklist is being utilized by the food establishment. That checklist does include items that they have had trouble being in compliance with regarding previous inspections. Okay, and they're also following pest control operator recommendations. The PCO does service the restaurant every 2 weeks, and I'll be seeing those reports. They're being sent to me by the person in charge as well. They still do have activity in the store. It has decreased, but they're still present there, so they still
I
continue to work.
would like to see him stay on the list until we,
Sure.
Do you know if the person has retaken the exam?
No, he hasn't gotten back to me with a date and time. I will follow up with him this week to find out if that's been scheduled.
Do you think it has
No,
anything to do with?
I agree with you, Joe.
The pest con-
they
has
work,
anything to do with all that work that's
Yeah,
happening
I'm
there
sure
with the
it does.
building?
It's possible,
Yeah,
behind the camera,
yeah, okay.
definitely.
do we have any other stores there that we can double check, on, would be the pizza place?
My last inspection at the pizza place did not have any activity. I know Shaw's has seen a bit of an uptick in activity.
Okay.
How
Shaw's,
about the Incredible Edibles there?
They're not
they're
there.
no longer in business.
Oh, they aren't?
No, they went out about 2 years ago.
I didn't know that either.
Good job.
You know,
Guess
why
I
it took
haven't been
so
in
much
there
of our
in
time to
years.
get into that parking lot, so you didn't even look to the right, you just take your time
Yeah.
to get in and look to the
The
left.
other side. So that, I'm trying to think if there's no other food establishments in there.
Papagino's.
No, Papagino's is across the street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
Papagino's is
I'm
by
talking
Shaw's.
about
Next to
the-
Shaw's.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that,
Boston
the other
Market,
plaza
yeah,
there? No, it's
yeah.
only been really Boston Market that's,
Yeah. Okay.
this has
Okay,
some activity
okay.
there.
so yeah, I agree, I think we should keep it on until we
I do
don't
too.
have any
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
pest activity.
I do too, Joe.
Okay, alrighty. Okay. New food establishment, high quality nutrition, Pleasant Street.
So that is a location where they have a walk-in cooler where prepackaged food that is portioned is being delivered to the location
Oh,
several
okay,
times
yeah,
a
we
week from
talked
New
about it
Jersey.
last
Yes.
time, yeah,
So, and that gets delivered, those meals get delivered to gym members
right.
who sign up for the program.
Right, so there's no
There's no-
preparation on
no,
site,
There's no prep, there's no cook, there's no, none of that.
Okay.
No.
but they
And it's
needed to be
something you have
permitted
to-
by us.
Okay.
Correct,
it's
because they
food.
are storing food
Food.
Okay.
inside the location, so.
And the launch is,
Launch has
transferred
officially
ownership again?
transferred.
Wow.
Yes.
They don't last long. I did notice that they're no longer serving ice cream.
Soft serve,
Soft
no
serve,
longer serving
yeah.
soft serve ice cream, correct.
Okay,
They do have prepackaged ice cream,
okay.
but no longer doing soft serve.
Yeah, and the rest of them are pending, okay.
Do-
The
is-
Chef and Edam Cakery still is,
Still doing some construction inside.
okay.
Is there a time frame we give them? So if they're not, you know, if anybody's not gonna use that license that they've pulled, do we give them a year, do we check on them for an update?
We usually will reach out to them depending on what's going on. They don't have a permit yet, they've just applied for one.
Okay,
So you know what I mean, they don't have anything yet. We keep their folders for a while, and we'll check in on different things to see any updates, if anything has changed, if we've heard that new people are going in, so we can close it out.
so we don't have a limitation on the number
No.
of, you know, applications we have
Applications,
up?
no.
Okay, so that's what I wondered if we follow that along, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
The one location that was permanent last week that is not on here is Boston's Baddest Burger. So their commissary,
The truck,
the truck, correct.
what's out front?
So
No,
last,
It was just out front.
yeah, he just came in for his permits, yes.
Yeah.
But last, I believe Thursday, Friday, that he was permitted to operate in the commissary and also inspected the food truck as well.
Okay, where's the commons?
The old Hurley's location.
Oh, down South Norwood, okay.
that's
Yeah,
why I
that's where
see
the
it.
truck is down there all
That's
the
why I
time.
see it
Okay.
parked
And
down
where does
there.
that truck go?
Most of his business is done in Boston.
Okay, so he's not gonna go around to the playgrounds when they open.
No, he's looking to get.
Okay, it's because that requires 2 people in the truck.
That's
That's ice cream.
That's ice
But
cream.
still, if we have 2 people in the truck for ice cream and the bad burgers goes up to Father Max, and, you know, shouldn't we have 2 people in that truck too?
It's a police regulation, the 2 people in the truck.
Okay, so we'll have to
Public
talk.
safety thing.
Okay, yeah.
But he.
I
did
just
a-
wondered if they were gonna go around too.
No, he did an event at the brewery, Castle Island.
Brewery.
But he does a lot of his work in Boston. Is where.
Yeah.
And he goes to a lot of places that have called him to come down. It's not one of those.
Private
that usually-
parties. He does
Yeah,
private
you go to
parties.
private functions, you don't, he doesn't really drive around.
Because there's a truck in the Dean Street,
That's just what I was gonna talk
Bull
about.
Boys.
Bull Boys.
Yep, so they have a lease agreement with.
VFW?
that. Yes. to
Yeah,
be
I
able
wondered
to
that,
be
how do
there.
they just show up in that parking lot, but that's a private agreement with the
Yes.
VFW.
Yes,
Okay.
if they wanna go on public ways, they need to speak to the selectman's office.
All right.
And have a discussion with them. Most of them tend to just do private locations.
Have you seen the line of people there? My granddaughter waited for 1/2
And
hour.
they
There's never not a
also-
line, there's always a
But they
line.
also have a commissary, don't they, at, isn't it behind there where
They
the,
do. I'm
um,
not sure where the location.
where it's the
Forget.
Pizzeria Uno kitchen.
Oh, they're borrowing. They're leasing space out of there. I
Leasing
believe.
space out of
Yes,
there.
Yes.
Now, do we,
I remember some things.
do
No
we,
brains
do we,
working.
go in there and check that out?
Yes.
We do,
Yeah.
okay.
So when Pizzeria Uno is inspected, I'll also do Bowl Boys.
There.
Because they need to have their own designated areas for their storage and their equipment as well.
Okay.
And then we're doing all the mobile trucks, starting next week.
Right.
So those will be on the May reports as the updates of the mobile trucks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So you'll see Bowl Boys come up, Boston Best Burger will be on there and a couple of the other ones.
Have you ever had one?
Boston's
Boys?
Baddest
No, no,
Burger?
no, no, Bull Boys?
No.
Carolyn, have you ever
No.
had one?
No.
The lines are incredible.
wait.
It's all fruit, and it's like a crushed berry. Have you had one, Sagal? It's a crushed, I don't know, some kind of berry,
Yep,
quinona berries or something like that.
Acai, isn't it?
Acai.
Acai.
They're
I don't even know how to say that.
And-
Acai?
Acai, yeah, and it almost tastes like a really cold, not ice cream, but
Yogurt.
Slushy?
It's like a yogurt.
It's all fruits and you can have like
Yeah.
different toppings on them, different things.
yeah,
You
like
can have,
she had
peanut butter,
bananas and
marshmallows.
blueberries
Yeah.
and strawberries and all kinds of stuff
Wow.
on top of this stuff. It's very good.
And what does it come in?
Comes in a bowl.
Oh, just a regular bowl?
Just a
And
regular
it's
bowl.
not like a taco shell?
Oh, no, 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 it comes in a bowl. It comes in a bowl. Just
Nope, I've never had one.
picture
So
a
now I'll have
big
to try it.
strawberry shortcake in a bowl, and this is basically the same thing, only all fruit, and it's supposed to be very good. I think my granddaughter said that you're not supposed to have more than 3 in a week because you might have some kind of a reaction. So,
I don't know about that.
yeah, well, no,
To what?
I don't know, that's from eating too much of this,
Akia.
Oh, I don't know.
yeah.
Well,
So,
fruit has a
Yeah.
lot of sugar in
but
it.
that's,
Maybe
well, that's the
what
fruit
we're
on top of it, but this stuff that they grind up.
God bless
is-
you.
is supposed to be good.
Bless
Yeah,
you.
bless you. Anyway, it's supposed to be
Okay.
very good,
Angelo,
so.
you're on again.
Absolutely.
Analog. No, we're good.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I had a lot of big writing, but not a lot of criticals, huh?
Well, that's good to see.
It is, it is.
Happy there's not so
Yeah, I'm
much
not
for-
sure I like this double page thing, though, I got a little confused when I was,
Oh,
Double-sided?
yeah.
oh, printed weird.
I mean, we could go to no paper if you want.
No, that's
Or
okay.
on
No,
computer.
Sorry, I had to get it in.
Or-
That's what I
or
mean.
No, that was a
Computer.
zing, that was a zing for
I
me,
just got
yeah.
voted in for 3 years. Can I have the paper for a couple more?
We were just trying to save some paper
Yeah.
this month. We can do
Okay.
single-sided if you want.
I think it's fine.
No, it's fine, it just, I
Well,
was,
if you use your computer, you don't use any paper at all.
And it's all one-sided.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
And you can
All right.
clearly see it.
all right, all
Um,
right.
You know, and I think what we emphasized before too, a lot of corrected on site.
I
We
just
wanna
gotta
make
get my
sure
phone.
that the violations that can be corrected immediately, that
Yeah.
they're corrected when Angela's there, so he notes that on the inspection, I think. Cause again, the goal is to have compliance.
Okay. Conrad just got the mice again.
Yes, I believe he's going to a new company. He's looking into getting a new company, but he is being serviced, I believe, every week.
Okay,
The restaurant's being serviced by the pest control operator.
okay. Yeah, they definitely need something if somebody can see a mice
Sure.
sitting there eating potatoes. I would say they had a little bit of a problem. Okay, did we wanna put him on the list to check his,
No,
no, okay.
No. I can ask him for the reports so I can review them.
Yeah.
That's not an issue. I
Yeah,
can do that,
I
sure.
would, yeah, I'd like to see the
Yeah.
reports on that. Westbury Farms,
Yep, Westbury Farms. Yep, that critical was corrected on site.
okay,
Michael, the owner, was there, so he did a walkthrough with me. We did together, obviously, so.
okay. How long are we gonna give him to replace or resurface the, shelving?
He's on the list of every quarter, so the
Okay.
next inspection will be coming up soon. I
Okay.
can recheck that when I go back. I did give him a timeline.
Okay,
I just don't remember. It's either 30 or 60 days.
okay,
So,
all right. Page 3. Anybody have anything before that? No? Yeah, Town Square Diner. I mean, how many times do we have to tell them that they can't keep the eggs out at room temperature? I mean, that, if you look back on their reports.
Is that a repeat there?
But there's not a repeat. That's where warning was issued. It was the first violation of improperly held eggs
Really?
at that location,
I
correct?
think we had an issue a while ago at
There's
Common.
gotta be another owner.
Yeah, there's yes, Common Cafe, that was an issue in the
It
past.
was a couple of years ago, though.
Yeah.
Correct, it was a while.
Town Square Diner, it was, but that was years ago.
It was
so-
years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Angela usually looks at previous inspections.
But
to
it
see
does
what they-
ring a bell to me,
violation.
Joni,
Yeah.
about those eggs out, honestly,
Yeah,
at the
eggs out
diner.
At the diner.
Well, I did call Jen in the field when I was in the restaurant, because I had the same question. I thought they had previous.
It could have been under
violations.
the previous owner though.
My- so-
We didn't see it when we were going through,
Oh,
this
all right,
owner's
right.
application.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway.
So it wouldn't come up, it changes when we have a new owner.
Right, because they wouldn't be held responsible for
Right.
the previous owner's,
Previous owner.
issue.
Okay. Where is the HBM Cafe?
FM Global?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that from Global?
Okay.
The medical? The
Yep,
medical?
yep. Yep. Okay.
The one question I have is on 6, did Central Market renew their food manager certificate?
Oh,
She did, yes, I received a
Okay.
copy of it, yes.
Lunchbox Deli, we're back on 5 at the bottom one, did they get their,
Food allergy
food
certificate?
allergy certificate?
Yes, he did, yep.
Okay.
Kevin did send me a copy of his food allergy certificate. His anti-choke class is also scheduled for, I believe, this week.
Okay,
So, and he has, I believe, 7 staff members who will be certified
okay,
on site. She's doing a class in the restaurant for them.
okay. And would you say Central Market, is that the one you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Central Market? Is that the one across from Hurley's, Angelo?
Yes.
Yes.
One that has all those fruit drinks and
Yes.
stuff? Oh,
Correct.
it's very
Yes,
nice.
juice bar.
Yeah. Elena's Cafe?
Yes. They both were corrected on site. I left a check for their food manager to make sure that he is certified in the Massachusetts food allergy regulations. So I'll follow up with him on that as well.
Yeah, and the repair or replace the hand
Right.
soap
Right.
dispenser?
Correct. Again, they are given timelines for these non-criticals as well.
Okay,
So, and also I'll have this note with me when I go back in there, just to
Okay.
remind me to check on that.
okay. Next one I have is Royal Pizza.
Yeah, they've seen an uptick in their pest activity as well. They did hire a new company. I did receive a copy of their service contract. I am gonna follow up with him, and I wanna see his most recent pest control report as well, to see what they found.
Was there not a violation in the past with an overflowing dumpster down there? No, can I remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so, I think you're right.
Might have been the previous.
Oh, I'd love to be right.
No,
You are right, it just changed
It
owners.
just changed
Oh,
ownership, correct,
right.
correct.
Okay. Can we put, do you wanna
Oh,
put them
did
on
the
the
Riccati
list, or
boys
are
do
they,
that?
yeah, I'd
You
like to
have
put
a-
them on the
You have a
list.
re-inspection scheduled already.
I do,
Yeah.
yes, it's on
Okay.
my calendar, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So it'll be on the next,
Yeah.
board report, but it's coming up soon.
It just doesn't say the date, it does say you have one scheduled.
It usually shows up on. Yeah, it does, I don't know why. They usually has an inspection date on it.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
know, it's,
Okay, McDonald's doesn't have enough hot water, so it was fixed.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Did confirm that.
Is that you, sanitarian? The next day?
Where? I'm
Is
sorry?
that
Yes, correct, the next
McDonald's
day,
on the
yes.
Providence Highway.
corrected the next day, verified by sanitarian?
That's a sanitary.
Oh, I know, that's a sanitarian. Oh, I thought maybe he was trying to say it was corrected, tested by somebody else. Okay. Verified by sanitarian.
I verified that it was correct the next day,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
They have their own facilities person who travels the
Today
McDonald's.
sarcasm day or something?
I don't know, you just demoted me from director to sanitarian. I'm sorry.
Just checking, just checking. Make sure I got the right day here. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm sorry, they have their own facilities person that
Quite a demotion.
covers this region, so
Yep.
they can get those items fixed relatively pretty quickly. So.
Good. Okay.
I had a concern about Star Market.
Okay.
Well,
I've heard multiple times about the complaint of expired meats on sale there.
I know their dairy products were an issue in the past,
Yeah.
but this is the
Yeah.
first time I've had their meats, a meat complaint.
oh, this was a meat complaint?
Correct.
Mm.
I've
Yeah.
heard
Oh, yeah,
other
right, that
people, I actually was in the store one day when somebody was returning a package of chicken that they opened it and it was ghastly
Again.
smelling.
It's as simple as being instructed
Yeah.
correctly on how to put anything away. I mean,
But this is the first time you've had a meat thing.
Correct.
I don't know if these people ever,
Correct. It used to be the dairy part, the milk, the yogurt
Yeah,
were an
that,
issue.
yeah.
I remember that a few years ago, but that's the first time about the meats.
good, somebody in the store would be, to check it every day.
Right.
Correct. Their meat
It's like
department
checking the
staff.
batteries in an EKG machine. It's part of your job. You need to do it every day and write that it's checked.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I mean, do we have, any requirements that if it's close to their expiration date, how many days before an expiration date can they sell a product? Is it like if an expiration date is within a week, do they have to put it on sale or do they have to remove it? Or they just have to remove it by the expiration
The
date?
meat department, they'll put a $2 off tag on the
Yes.
product if it expires within a
I've seen
couple of days.
Okay.
Some supermarkets will put product 5
Put
days
it on
before the
sale,
expiration
okay.
date, and it all depends on the
Okay.
store.
But it's not a regulation that they're required to do
No,
that? Okay.
no, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is it almost time to mention hair restraints again? I noticed that in a couple of restaurants, they're not wearing hair restraints anymore.
I do have my May workshop coming up, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Every year we pick something that
something.
hair restraint seems to be. a good-
What is the code? What does it mean? Not the code. What is the Massachusetts or what is the requirement for hair length in restaurants?
There is no.
Servers first.
There is no requirement.
Huh?
That's left up to the discretion of the inspector.
So a person can serve with long hair.
They
like-
can,
They-
they can go
uh-huh.
down to their knees as long as it's properly restrained.
But there's no requirement.
As long as it's properly
Length for the
restrained,
length.
There's no requirement for the length,
For
but
length.
it needs to be
Length.
pulled back.
Correct.
needs to be pulled back.
It's like a beard.
Yes.
So if it's again, it's left up to the discretion of the inspector. Mine is like half an inch. If it's more than half an inch, I trigger the requirement for a bear restraint.
Okay, so we put out the requirements.
Yeah.
The state does not say, you know, Carolyn, to serve food, your hair has to be pulled back.
Yeah, it does have to be
It-
pulled back. It
It
can
does.
be
It's
any
the
length, but it
FDA
does
food
have to
code.
be pulled
It's an
back.
Can't
FDA
be
food
free-
code,
Right.
that's what I
Can't
want to
be-
know, yes,
Right.
But there's
yes.
no length requirement. It doesn't say, you know, if
It
it's
just
over an
can't
inch.
be free flowing, it has to be.
Right.
In the
restrained.
kitchen as well.
Okay.
Correct. Kitchen, meat departments, deli departments.
That's the only one that's slacking just a little bit in enforcing, I think.
Well, it's just really a gross factor that you're not gonna get sick from somebody's hair. It's not gonna make you sick. It's not gonna, you know, you might.
It's gross,
if
but it's not
we
gonna
had a
make you
case
sick.
where the beard was dripping and things, you know,
Ugh.
that's
Right.
gonna actually transfer a cross-contamination maybe. But
Right.
it's a,
It's a
yeah,
what
it's just a
cigar.
gross,
That was
You
not
know
a
what I
good
mean,
visual.
Angela? Does it-
it's not a critical violation.
Correct. It's a
No.
non-critical. Correct. I see a lot of beards. I see a lot of young men with these long beards that they're growing, and it's an issue. It's been an issue.
Yeah, I think
So-
half an inch is fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, because that especially is hanging over the food.
Right, and it's
Yeah.
right, and there,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's gross. Okay,
I agree.
I go with that.
But again, they can grow a beard down to their chest, but
Yeah.
As
As
long
long
as
as
they
it's
wear
restrained.
beard
restraint.
restraint, or
Yeah, I
shave it
think
off.
that might be one of the things along with the paper towels and toilet paper. Yeah.
paper,
And hot water, Johnny.
Hot water, yeah, that
Hot
too.
water.
Okay. All right. Speak up, you two, if there's anything
No?
that.
No, I'm
Okay.
Speaking
good.
up.
Is there anybody you're concerned with that you think we need to add to the list? or
I
do you
am not. I
just-
usually find, but obviously I schedule reinspection
Okay,
for sure, and you'll see it on the left side. There's
Okay.
a reinspection date.
yeah.
Most of the items though are corrected on site relatively soon,
Mm-hmm.
and I do verify either pictures, phone call, visit. I do verify.
You know, like the chateau there, cascading shield inside the ice machine, needs to be, is no longer cleanable.
Right,
Yeah.
it's stained. It's not rust.
Yeah.
It's not soil. It's just stained, and
Okay.
it really should be replaced.
Okay,
If you can't clean it anymore, so. But I'll be looking. She's looking into that actually. Carrie is.
Okay.
The manager.
uh-huh,
So yeah, that's something that I'll be checking next time I go there. So,
okay.
like the low temp, that critical violation there, she sent me a work order
Mm-hmm,
of it being repaired.
Oh,
Or
good.
replaced, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The gauge been replaced. So.
Yeah, the
So
gauge.
she sent me an email of the service order
Okay,
that I can read and make sure it was done.
okay. All right,
Thank you, Angelo.
Thank you, good job.
very good.
Keep all our restaurants clean and safe.
Yeah. Oh, the Wendy's dumpster, is that all taken care of?
That's all set. Yes,
That's
it was
all set?
placed back in the enclosure.
Okay.
Yes, both of them.
Okay. Oh, righty, moving right along.
Director?
The director's report. Dun, 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 dun.
So I just wanted to, along kind of with the themes I've been doing monthly, is talking about also what public health can do in the community and different avenues that we can explore as in how we can create a healthy community. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just planning in public health and how the planning and the way we design our community can really impact our health. And I think we have some things coming up at town meeting that we can encourage, and the mixed-use development that is actually desirable for a healthy community is to have sort of residential and retail all situated close to transportation, encourage physical activity and walking. So I just wanted to shine light on that. We have actually had a project with MAPC, Metropolitan Area Planning Council, to work with the public health departments and the planning departments in the NC7 communities to better integrate health into our community planning. So they've developed a toolkit for us with a checklist, which it's in draft form right now, but it's a very large document, but it has a lot of the research behind how public health can be improved through proper community planning, and also gives us the tools as public health agents to provide useful feedback to our planning department. I kind of put on the back, I like, I like the pictures. I'm a very visual learner,
I like
so.
pictures.
So it's easier for me to understand things when I have them visually. So things like walkable communities, create better economic opportunity, having green space, obviously we know the benefits of that, playgrounds, places for intergenerations to come together, green access to healthy foods. So all these things sort of come together and can be worked in through design and have a positive impact on health.
So do you think something like this, they'll use this tool when they're doing this new uptown redevelopment?
Yeah, I think it's something that as we come together as a community, we can sort of provide the health perspective on that and saying that, this zoning change actually could improve the community's health if approved by creating sort of these mixed-use pockets.
Yeah.
We're so fortunate in Norwood to have 3 commuter rail stations. Like we have some public transportation, and for a suburban community, that's not very common.
Yeah.
So how we can take advantage of that, and it makes us desirable too for people to move into town.
Okay, one thing I was gonna ask, I meant to talk about is the police department or the fire department, the one that has the countertop, you throw your garbage pails and all that stuff in the
Compost?
compost.
Public Works?
It's Public Works, okay. Now, do we still carry them through the Board of Health?
Oh, the compost bins.
Yes,
No, we have transferred that over to the Public Works Department.
okay, so Public Works.
It was mainly just a storage thing. We were storing them here in Town Hall in the hallway, and it was hideous. And they had, with the new building, we transferred over there because they just have the room for it.
Okay, so they do have available the new compost.
They've actually expanded the program where they got some more expensive types of rotating compost bins, and plus they have the collection bin right in behind the Civic there, so you can sort of collect your kitchen scraps and bring them there, so you don't actually have to do backyard composting, but still compost your scraps.
Oh, no kidding, so you just bring your bag of scraps to the DPW?
Yep, they have a collection right right between the bank and the Civic.
Uh-huh.
They have a big sort of, looks like a big compost bin. It's up, so it's easy to put it in. You just want to make sure you don't put your plastic bag in. You can put compostable plastic bags you can buy, but don't put like a regular grocery bag in there because that would contaminate the compost. Obviously.
Nice, okay. So that's a good thing to get out to the public. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Public Works is doing a great job, and they put a lot on social media.
Do
and
they charge for those composting bins?
There is a fee.
Oh.
It's drastically reduced from what it cost, and it's subsidized by grant funding that we sort of handed that program over to them, and now they're managing it.
Okay, can I ask a question? How long does it take for the contents of that composting bin to change into something you can use? Do you have an estimated amount of time? I keep
know.
thinking in mind,
I don't
keep
know.
peeking in mind.
It's a great question for Public Works, and I'm
Okay,
sure,
okay, because nothing ever changes.
It
It's
depends too on what you're
On what
putting
you're
in
putting
it,
in.
And where-
how much heat.
Oh,
So
that's
you want
what
the sun to
generated.
get on
Okay,
it, you
yeah.
wanna add a little water, you wanna keep turning it, it all depends.
Okay, Stace.
Does
And
it
how
smell?
much, Janet's doesn't, but I don't know what she puts in it.
Yeah, you just wanna be careful not to put dairy or meat, mostly just your scraps from
Banana
vegetables and fruit,
peels
things
and
like that.
potato
And Joan, I think you were
skins.
talking about for the countertop, they
Yeah.
sell these little cute little barrels with the liner, so you can keep it right in your kitchen. If that's what, I
Yeah.
think you mentioned
Cute little
countertop.
barrels?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're small little buckets that you can keep right in your kitchen.
Yeah,
So things like onion peels and
Onion-
banana peels
Right.
and all that stuff can go in?
Apple cores, orange peel, yeah, any of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Stace.
okay,
Okay, go ahead.
so. Do you know how much they cost, Sigal?
DPW.
781-762-1413. They'll answer all your questions, right? Okay. All right, Sigal, what else?
And I think you can see my
Yep.
long list of meetings.
Okay.
Excited, this is the first day for the new HR director. She started today, actually.
Oh.
So I was
Name?
happy to be part of that interview team.
Molly.
Molly Keene.
Very nice. Welcome, Molly.
Yes, welcome, Molly. You got big shoes to fill.
I think
Okay.
she's gonna do pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure
she's
she
young
will.
and energetic and.
God knows we need energy.
Okay. Do we have our next date for a meeting?
No, there is one
Board's
other.
agenda?
Oh, yes.
Board agenda.
But did I have a question for you?
The
I
answer's
have a
yes.
question.
I had a question for you, but I forgot.
Okay, you ask your question, or you forgot.
When is hazardous waste?
Oh,
Yeah, that's.
that might have been it,
first.
Kathy.
Probably should have been on the agenda.
May
May
11th.
11th.
Day before Mother's Day.
So yeah, it's always Saturday before Mother's Day. But May 11th, the newsletters went out to the residents
that's-
in their light bills in April.
Okay. Just need to put it on my calendar.
And the banner should be going up soon across Washington Street.
Okay, so, that's the end of our regular agenda. We're gonna change things up here. I would like to make a recommendation that we nominate Kathy Bishop for the new chairman of the Board of Health.
Can I second it?
Yes, and I.
Yes,
second
all
it,
right.
Okay, so that has decisions
All in
been made.
favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I
All
guess I
right.
can vote for myself.
Yes. And I would like to thank the town for voting me in for another term, for their confidence. I'll keep working hard for our youth. Thank you.
Atta girl. All right, congratulations, Kathy. You get to sit in the big
Congratulations,
girl's chair.
Kathy. Our
Good.
next meeting is?
Oh, this is, we may need to change it.
Yeah, it is
right?
May 20th. I was hoping we could change it. I just have a conflicting meeting that I actually already missed in March and April. It's going on right now. If possible, if we could move the 20th.
Two, what date? It's good for you?
The next day?
Yeah, what's it? Oh, God.
21st. See, we can get it quicker with our paper, Joni.
Like,
Okay,
my
Tuesday's
phone's not
21st,
working.
sorry.
Right.
Yeah, as long as we do 10.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's your day, huh? Yeah, that's your, what if it goes over?
I'll leave the department and meeting by 10.
Oh, I know what I want you before we could secure that. How did you make out when you made our budget presentation?
Oh, it went very well.
That was, I'm sorry to bring that up now, but that's what I just.
Yeah, no, last Thursday went very well.
Yes.
We were at the high school in the big auditorium.
Oh, good.
There were probably about 10 to 15 residents, but like I say, anytime I can get in front of the public and talk about what public health is and what we do in
Yes.
the community, I think even some of my colleagues in the room were surprised to hear what we did.
Yeah, it's good.
Because we do such a variety of things, and NCM was there, so
Yes.
it will be televised.
Okay, I didn't see it, but I heard you were there, and I thought, oh, no, we already made that decision for you to make the presentation, but I want to know how it went for you. No, there was not an open forum that questions went in.
There were question and answers, and they were great. It was a
I
great
guess
discussion
so.
about what we
Question
do.
answers to you?
Mhm.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
And we talked about a lot what we do. I think it's going to be a yearly thing, and it's going to grow and be bigger. The idea is to get the information out to the community before town meeting. So when it comes to town meeting, you can deliberate on the budget rather than asking, what do you do?
Anything we should know that they asked you that, I mean, I hate to,
No, I thought it was very funny that one of the women asked, do we hire grant writers for all the grants that we get? And I said, do you write grants? Because maybe we could hire. And I said, no, I've been writing all the grants, and we definitely have, with the bigger ones, we've used consultants, but.
Is that the only
review.
question they asked?
No, I'm trying to remember the other questions. Of course, I'm not remembering them.
I wanna watch it when it's on, because then,
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't live. I looked
me too,
No, yeah, they didn't
yeah.
do it live.
I just like to keep abreast of it, so if somebody stops you on the street, I get stopped a lot.
Yeah, nothing controversial, nothing like, why are you doing this? or-
Okay, alrighty, good,
Um,
good, thank you.
Can I say something about the next meeting?
Sure.
May 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I have scheduled time slots for pool inspections at 10 a.m. Right, so if we can maybe do a meeting at 9, and I'll go first, maybe, one of those days, if we stick to one of those days. Do
Why don't we
food at
just do it
9.
the
We
week
can
ahead
just
of
do-
time or the week behind it? Everybody's getting busy, what's, nobody cramp everybody.
Well, the 27th is Memorial Day, so we can't do that.
Do we need you?
It's up to you.
I mean, I filled in for Angela
So,
before,
well,
but what do the board wants?
But if we put it at 9 a.m., you have the meeting. you
Yeah,
have the
I'd
town
just do a
manager.
different
That's not
day.
gonna work.
Yeah.
On
You have to do
Tuesday,
that.
I could do Wednesday at 9 a.m., the 22nd.
I can't do Wednesday.
Okay. We could go to the 13th or the 23rd, we could go ahead a week or continue down that week.
I can do the 13th, 14th, 15th, I can't, Kristen has her infusion, I can't do I can do anything.
Yeah.
But I like 10.
I like 10 easy, it makes it a lot easier. I can do 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th.
13th,
What?
now,
How about you?
Joni?
Yeah, I can do the 13th.
Angela?
Yep, good.
13th at 10.
Quick turnaround for those regulations.
Oh, yeah, that's, something that's not fair to go.
What's that?
I just,
The
it's
turnaround
getting me
for the
tighter on the,
regulations.
Oh, that's-
that's
Okay.
gonna take
Do
a lot
we
of work.
wanna-
Can we just do it later that week?
You have
16th or
21st,
17th?
22nd, and
And
23rd.
If you don't mind Angelo not being here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so any day that week is out.
Let's do the 22nd at 10.
I can't.
No, she can't. We're doing the 21st at 10.
21st to 10.
21st at 10?
21st at 10.
Thank you for that.
Oh, I'm
to create
sorry,
that.
I'm not supposed to.
You better
be
have that
pushy
stuff ready
chairman
now.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's
Okay,
It's just I have an appointment on the
Okay,
15th, so
yeah,
I
all
can't.
right.
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, so we're
So
the
we are
21st,
21st at 10?
10.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
That give you enough time.